Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Cigar Lounge Cigar Talk Show. I am Aaron Paoletta, and today Johnny cannot be here, but I have a special guest with me from high school, longtime friend. This is Greg Sankey. Greg, say hi.
Hi.
There you go, just one simple hi. And because we no longer have Dusty Muffins, we have a new guy today. Dusty Muffins was our old producer. My buddy from Vegas who moved here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, after living here a year, he decided he wanted to go to the eastern side of Pennsylvania.
Why?
Who knows? Okay. But anyway.
Well, I won't hold that against him.
Anyway, today we have a new guy joining our team, Evan DeVore. Evan, from all the way in the back, say hi.
Hello.
Oh my God. Anyway, Evan is very shy, so he will not be like Dusty Muffins and have, a microphone on him at all times. But if he wants to chime in, you are more than welcome to chime in. Might even put a picture on the screen so they know what you look like. Anyway, moving on. Today is a special episode because we do have a guest. First time I've actually had a guest and a new person at the same time. So
a special day.
I don't know what to make of this this episode. Equipment's director, new guest, Johnny Five ain't here for me to laugh at him for saying Nicaragua, so I don't know how this is gonna go. You mentioned before we started that it has been a hot minute, as my West Coasters would say, a hot minute since you smoked a cigar.
Yeah, that was back in my college days, cloves and cigars, which been a few years, maybe like 20.
I was gonna say, how many years?
Actually, like 18, 19 years.
So we're not even in years, we're counting in decades now.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Shameful. Shame on you.
I know. That's why I'm here.
That is why you're here. Because of that, I want to go into a little bit before we light you up.
Okay.
It's been a long time since you've had a cigar. Do you remember the strength of cigars that you smoked at all?
No.
Okay, do you remember what cigars you smoked?
Yes.
Tell me.
So I remember acids, which were kind of like a cool shape. No idea what kind.
Okay.
Romeo and Juliet.
Julieta, that's a good cigar.
And then there was a cigar that I had a friend in Germany. It was called Independence FE, and that was my favorite one. But I don't know anything else about it.
Yeah, I don't really remember that one.
Was
Well, since it's been 2 decades.
Or Swisher Sweets, but those don't
That's
count.
not a cigar, and neither is cloves. Don't ever touch that again. And if you have any in your pocket, get them out of here.
I don't have any.
Okay,
no.
so since it's been so long since you've done that, and since you've had a cigar, we're going to start you off with something not mild or mild to medium, because I really don't have anything like that in my stash. I mean, Evan, you know what I have. It's all medium to fulls and fulls. We're going to start you off with something that's a medium cigar. Now, in this strength scale, and a lot of people confuse like spiciness and earthy notes to strength. That's not what that is. Okay. Flavor profile and strength profile are two different things. So when you have a tobacco plant, okay, you have your very, very top leaves, which you get like 2 or 3 that sprout out. Those aren't used. But then you have the next ones, which are the Ligero leaves. Those Ligero leaves are actually the strongest leaves on the plant. Do you know why? The most sun. So I'm assuming you've had a raw tomato in your life before.
I have, yes.
Very mild in flavor, right?
Yeah.
You've had a sun-dried tomato before, right?
Yes.
Okay, and what do those sun-dried tomatoes taste
A
like?
lot more flavor.
Same thing with the tobacco plant. Those Ligero leaves get all the sun. Those are used for those high-strength fillers, okay?
Yeah.
And then you got 2 more layers, which will end up being, you do it for your mediums and then your more mild to mediums. So that being said, I'm going to start you off with an Oliva G. Now, an Oliva G is, I'm personally a huge fan of this company, the Oliva company. And the local accounts manager, Josh, is a fantastic guy. We did an Oliva event over at the Grand Resort in Warren, Ohio, last month maybe. Fantastic event. He was there. We had a 4-sampler tasting. Matter of fact, last night I was at the Casa Cueves event over at the Grand Lounge in the Grand Resort in Warren, Ohio. And normally my conversation, and I just put up the review today of that. Now, by the time this thing actually airs, it's not going to be.
Still be a while.
It'll be a while.
Yeah.
But normally my conversations are with the tobacconists that are there, or some of my brothers of the leaf that are there, or like Evan went with me. Last night I talked to the blender. the whole time. Like I was there 3.5 hours. 3 hours of that the blender, which was actually Alec Cuevas, which was the son of Louis Jr. He's 24 years old. He's the one that blended the cigar that I smoked last night. Sat there for 3 hours and just gave me his family history and what he was. Cool. Dude, it was absolutely amazing. I can't say enough. That kid's got his shit together. And I can't say enough good about him without blowing smoke up his ass, but dude, you're on it. Like, keep going. And I'll get into that cigar later. Anyway, Oliva, this is more their medium strength. So on a tier of 1 to 5, so 1 would be mild, 2 would be mild to medium, 3 would be medium, medium to full, and full. This is a 3. Now for my book, I always do it by number. It's just easier that way instead of writing everything out, but this is a medium stick. So I'm gonna hand that one to you. And because...
Hey, my initial, G.
And because it hasn't been 2 decades since I smoked a cigar, I'm gonna pull out the full-bodied Padron 1926 40th anniversary Maduro.
God bless you.
God bless me. Anyway, any questions before we get into it? Or do you just want to get into it?
So, for strength of cigars, do you only like 5s or do you like 1 to 5?
No, my profile is medium, medium to full, and full.
So you're like a 3, 4,
4, and 5. It just depends on the time of day. So right now, currently, it's 3:27 in the afternoon. I'm on to medium to full or full.
That's between a 4 and a 5?
No, I think it's listed as a medium to full, but I personally think it's a little bit stronger than that, so I call it a 4.5, but there isn't a rating for that, so we'll go.
So it's Aaron's rating.
It's my rating of 4.5. It's a medium to full and a half.
Got it.
You got medium and a half to full. We know what I'm talking about. Anyway, because it's late in the afternoon, I've already had my snacks, I've already had my lunch. I've got food in my stomach, so you can smoke that. If this was 10 o'clock in the morning, which if I normally do two sticks in a day, and I put a good 5-6 hours in between, because personally I think that if you smoke one back to back, you're not going to taste it anymore. And I don't smoke these things to waste them. I smoke them to enjoy them. Okay. So in the morning, if I didn't have much to eat, I would go with a mild to medium or a medium, because it'll
upset your stomach.
Oh, it'll mess with your stomach. And anybody out there who's actually smoked these cigars before knows if you smoke on an empty stomach, beware. As a matter of fact, I have another one, which I'll pull out later, that I did smoke on an empty stomach, and I did not feel good at all. But my flavor profile is more the 4s and the 5s, medium to fulls to fulls. So any other questions before we get started? Because I kind of want to smoke.
I'm good.
You want to smoke? Okay, then let's smoke. What do you think of that so far?
That might be better than anyone I've ever had.
Well, Oliva, that's saying something. This man's first cigar in 20 years, and he's already a huge fan.
It tastes good.
Yeah, it does.
It tastes really good.
That's what happens when you don't smoke acids. Nothing against acids. Nothing against acids. I know you're shaking your head back there. Acids are not for everyone. I will say that. I am not a fan of anything infused. That includes the Macanudo series when they did the bourbon and with that Isla del Sol. I can't stand anything infused. If Padron came out with an infused cigar,
you wouldn't like that.
I wouldn't walk near it.
So what's an infused cigar versus what this is?
So that's natural tobacco. All the flavors that you get out of that are natural. It comes from the soil, surrounding farms, whatever they planted there after they harvested the tobacco, because you normally turn your field. So you could plant soybeans or corn or something like that too.
Right, so it's not the same thing every year.
Yeah, because you want to add nutrients back into it. You want to add something different. So in between tobacco, they put something else in there.
How many is in a box?
Depends. Like the Tattori, or not Tattori, same guy, Pete Johnson, made the L'Atelier Missions. Those were 18 to a box.
Okay.
But then some of the Arturo Fuentes are 23 toolbox, and some are 24, and those are 25. But the Maduro version is 24. So it just depends on.
Depends upon the cigar manufacturer.
It depends. It just depends on who's making it. Now, this one, on the other hand, so that's retail. I think that's like a $6.50 cigar. Okay. Retail, pending whatever state you're in, because different states have different import taxes, which they have to add to it. Yeah. This one here, this is a $30 cigar, I think. I just bought these actually from my guy out in Phoenix, Anthony's Cigar Emporium. I always deal with Mike out there. He always hooks me up. But I am just a massive fan of these.
That particular one?
Pretty much anything by Padron, but I'm a Nicaraguan fan. Where's Johnny when you need him? I'm a Nicaraguan fan. I love Nicaraguan tobaccos. In my opinion, they're just king. I absolutely love them. But that G has Nicaraguan in it as well. It's got an African Cameroon wrapper. Now, interesting conversation I had with Alec last night. The cigar that I smoke, which actually I brought it with me. I brought the sampler pack that I was given last night. So these are the Casa Cuevas that I was actually given. And whether you can see or not on the camera, pull this out here. So this is the one, and I'll let you see this here. This is the Sangre Nueve. When I cut this and did the dry draw on it, I taste smoked beef jerky.
Really?
And it caught me by surprise.
Because that's not normal.
Well, I've never tried it before. I've never had anything that tasted like that. So he was standing, and I hit it 3 or 4 times. I'm like, am I really tasting smoked beef jerky? And he comes walking by. I'm like, hey man, I gotta ask you about this thing. Like, can you tell me what's in this? And I had my book out, and they knew about my book. And he's like, well, what are you getting? I said, smoked beef jerky. And he goes, I'm surprised you got that. So that's when he sat down and just poured this story out, which I couldn't get enough of. And Evan, he was listening to it. I could not get enough of this story. But this was his first blend that he did. And this kid knocked it out of the fucking park, dude. Like, awesome. I can't, you can go ahead and open that one and smell it if you want to, because these are all my backups, so I can, because normally when I do my testing, I smoke the first one and that goes in my book. Those are my initial thoughts. But then I'll go back and smoke, 1 or 2 more to make sure that what I was getting is what I was getting. So that has an Ecuadorian Cameroon wrapper on it. It's Cameroon seed, but it's made in Ecuador. But normally Cameroon is made in Africa. But the tobacco is it's having such problems tracking down African Cameroon that they had to figure something else out. Well, they planted it in Ecuador. And according to Alec, Ecuador, you can plant anything and it will grow. So now they're starting to mess with different tobaccos in Ecuador.
Oh, that smells good too.
Right? But the G has the African Cameroon wrapper. So I would say the biggest difference that I noticed is the African Cameroon wrapper has more of a musty, like sourdough note to it, where this one had more of a earthy. Now, this one also has, some of the tobacco is Kentucky fire cured, which is where the smoke came from. And it blew my mind.
Yeah.
But if you want to look at
this kid knows his stuff.
He's learning.
His family's been in it?
Oh yeah, his family's been in it. And actually, he invited me down to their factory in the Dominican Republic. And me and Evan are talking about it. We're thinking about packing all this gear up and taking it with us and doing his episode in his factory in the Dominican.
Oh no, that would be really
DR.
cool.
I figure so too. But this one, the one you're smoking,
nice on those too.
I like the bandings on those. The one that you're smoking has the African Cameroon wrapper, but it does have a Nicaraguan filler in it. Nicaraguan long fillers, or Nicaraguan Habano long fillers. I could not find, in all the research that I've done, I could not find a binder on that.
What's a binder?
Okay, so, wow, he really is new. Really is a new.
All I knew was I went into a cigar shop and bought a cigar, and that was it.
Yeah. Okay. So here's how this works. A true tobacconist in a store, okay, in a retail store, should have, as soon as you walked in, how you doing? Doing fine. What can I help you with? I'm here to buy a cigar. What's your strength profile?
I've never heard that.
That is the first thing they should have asked you. Or your flavor profile, to kind of figure out where in that humidor they want to take you. And if you say, well, I'm new to this. I really don't know. Now, I'm a certified cigar sommelier tobacconist. Just got my diploma a few weeks ago as of the filming of this episode.
That's awesome.
Some of the stuff that I learned was how to do retail ends of it. Well, I want to find out what your strength is. Now, if you say you're new at it, my next question is, do you drink coffee?
Yes.
You do drink coffee. What kind of coffee do you like? Mild, medium, robust, espresso? Like, what do you drink?
Yeah, it depends. My favorite bean is probably from Ethiopia. I also like Guatemala. Those are my two favorite. But I typically like a medium profile to medium bold as far as the flavor profile.
Okay, so we're calling espresso bold. Where are you at underneath bold?
I like espresso too.
You like espresso too?
Yeah.
So it just depends
I think I just love coffee so much. I can like anything as long as there's a good bean.
Okay.
And the roaster's good.
So where I would go with that information is I would start guiding you over to Maduro wrap cigars, sun-grown wrap cigars, Nicaraguan filled cigars, because that's going to be your more medium to full.
So if I'm going to buy a cigar, I know who I'm calling.
But I don't work there, and I don't get paid for that shit. But I will go with you, though.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, depending on where you go, because there's 3 stores that I would definitely send you to. Go to Penn, Ohio in Sharon, go to Boxcar Cigar in Valant, or go to Slippery Rock Cigars in Slippery Rock or Butler.
Okay.
So if you're going to Slippery Rock, talk with Joe. If you're going to Valant, talk with Bobby. If you're going to Penn, Ohio, go talk with George.
Okay.
Or just call me and I'll go with you.
I think I'll do that.
But that's what I would ask you if you were new into it. Is I want to find out, like, where are your taste buds at as far as strength is concerned. Once we start that, now I'm going to ask you price. What's your budget? What's your budget per cigar?
I have no idea.
Give me one. What are you willing to spend right now on a single cigar?
On a single cigar, I'd spend $100.
Okay. Ain't no store around here going to give you that because they don't sell those unless you go over to the Grand Resort, and they do carry some Padrones and some Fuentes over there.
But I mean, it's something I don't ever smoke, so I'm going to have 1 or 2 cigars in a year. So
okay, then I would definitely keep you away from that because price doesn't always indicate quality, and that's a big misconception. And matter of fact, I can't remember who it is, but I'd have to look it up. But there's a guy who created a really expensive cigar that tastes like shit, and he did it for the people who was like, just give me your most expensive thing.
Oh, that's funny.
So what do you got?
Oliva G.
No. What are you showing me?
Gurkha.
Put that fucking Gurkha away. Nobody cares about Gurkha. Anyway. Oh yeah, Gurkha does. Well, they do $1 million stick too.
That would be out of my price range.
That would be. I wouldn't, dude. I don't even want to spend $10 on a Gurkha, let alone $1 million.
Not a good cigar.
It's not for my palate, and I'm being polite.
So are there cigars that are good but that you don't like?
Oh, there's plenty of cigars that are good. I mean, I'm a big fan of, and I make no hiding it, I'm a big fan of Rocky Patel. At one point, I was a huge fan of Alec Bradley until their quality went into the shitter, which I've made very clear on social media. Fuente.
Sorry to whoever that company is.
No, it's their own damn fault. I am a huge fan of Alec Bradley, and there are cigars that I have, but when you don't do quality checks and every cigar that I pull out of the box that I spent good money on is clogged, like there's a golf ball stuck in it, that's a problem. Retrain your rollers. That's all I'm saying, because they're doing it wrong. They should not be that clogged. Anyway.
Clogged is?
Where you get no draw. So when you're taking a draw off this, a drag,
Yeah.
It's so tight you can't get a draw. Well, that also...
So like there's too much tobacco in there?
It's bunched too tight. Or it was rolled too tight. It could be a variety of things. But if you can't take a draw and get air through this, how do you expect the fire to burn?
It can't because there's no oxygen.
You need oxygen. Oxygen needs to go through this. Well, when it's rolled too tight or it's bunched too tight, you just can't do it. So anyway, I'm a huge fan of Rocky Patel, but there are several Rocky Patel cigars that I can't stand. And that Cameroon 2003 that he has, that went from toasting, lighting, toilet.
It was that bad.
I just couldn't stand it. But
A good cigar or just not even a good cigar?
I just couldn't stand the flavor of it. But you turn around, same company, Rocky Patel, and you look at all the reviews that I've done on Rocky Patel. I speak very highly of his company and
so
and
just
his
this
cigars.
particular one.
That particular cigar just did not tickle me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Are you supposed to ever ash the cigar?
So, The ash, they say that the ash will fall off when it's ready to fall off. But I wear dark clothes, and I don't want the ash to decide and it wants to fall off on my dark clothes. So what I do is I just give it a little tap. If it breaks itself, see, that's not ready. It didn't break itself loose. If it's ready to fall off, it's going to fall off. And you get too many people try to force their ash off. Don't force it.
So it'll fall on me.
Just let it do its thing.
This tastes really good.
Okay, so
I'm really liking this.
I'm glad. So as a newbie,
are
you tasting anything?
Yes.
Yes. And what are you tasting?
Tobacco.
Okay.
No, okay. Let me think about what I'm tasting.
Try retrohaling too. You'll get different notes when
What's that mean?
Okay, so you take the smoke in, and it's almost like you want to swallow it, but you want to blow it out your nose instead. You don't actually want to swallow it, but you want to take it back and push it so it comes out your nose without inhaling. You don't want to inhale it. Just okay. You taste something different now. Mm-hmm. It's hitting different parts of your sinuses. That's called a retrohale.
I'm getting I would say it's a bright flavor.
A bright flavor. That's interesting. I would have to go into my book, and thankfully, I got smart, Evan. I have the 2 books that are filled, and I left them down here. So they're always here now. And I believe the Oliva G is in the OG book.
But if I remember, it's been so long since I've smoked a cigar, but if I remember...
But you eat food, though, so you know what things taste like.
Yeah, but...
And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to identify what we taste inside that, because the minerals inside of the dirt is what gives it those flavors. I mean, you can even... Spices picked up like that. Like sometimes you just taste black pepper. You're like, it doesn't taste spicy, but I taste like cracked black pepper. Or maybe I taste like table ground black pepper, like you would put on eggs. Or am I tasting almonds? Or what's Johnny's favorite? Cashews. You're tasting cashews. So that's the kind of things that we want to identify.
I can't pull anything out.
Well,
but if you give me multiple choice answer.
Multiple choice. Okay, well here's my original.
Oh wow, okay.
That's my original when I tasted this one. And all right, first third, a slight amount of black pepper. Black pepper, and the second third notes of mixed nuts and a small amount of leather. But you're still in the first third. But then again, that's why I always say that each cigar should have a vintage stamp on it, because that was years ago I tried that Oliva G. And I've had those before, and I didn't get any black pepper out of them.
See, I'm not tasting any pepper.
Neither did I when I smoked those, because that came out of the batch that I have at the house.
Well, then that's good. I'm not tasting pepper.
Well, but you never know what someone's tasting. Every palate is different.
Because you can interpret different.
No, I can tell you in the first third, when I had those, because I tried, every time I buy a box, I always try them when they first come in. And I always pull one out and try, and then I set one aside. I tasted the mixed nuts were there, the mild leather was there.
I'd say I'm getting a mild leather, because it's like, I would describe it as a light, bright tobacco.
But you know what leather smells like.
Yes.
So we're gonna take sense of smell, and we're gonna cross it with taste. So when you walk into, I don't think we even have them around here, Shepler's. We had Shepler's out in Vegas. Yeah. But when you walk in there, it's a boot store, like a Western store. All you smell is leather.
There used to be a leather store at the outlet mall.
Okay, well, when you taste it, you'll know it.
Yeah, I'm not tasting leather.
Okay. Cedar, you know what cedar smells like. Do you taste cedar? Another thing you do is be like Louis Armstrong. So when you pull that smoke in, like bunch out your cheeks, because then it opens up and hits more taste buds. Anything?
Nope. I'm bad with, but I love coffee too, and I'm really bad at saying, oh, this has, a hint of floral, or this has a,
Well, I've done, I can't even tell you how many reviews. 3 books full so far.
I think I would need comparisons, like just having one to go off if it's hard for me. And if I had a comparison, I think that would help.
Right. Well, it's also going to, that's what I was leading into. I have all these books full of different notes, and You know, I was a chef for 17 years, and it's been said numerous times, and that's where I can still pull flavors out because I was trained to do food. Like, that's all I was trained to do. So
I have the same problem with food too. Like, I love good food, but I couldn't really tell you why. I just know if it's good, I like it.
Cue the crickets. Though pulling those notes really don't mean anything to anybody except for people like me who want to know what notes are coming out of that. For someone who just wants to sit down and enjoy a cigar, reviews are stupid. And I still think reviews are stupid. Even though I write reviews, I still think they're stupid to this day. The way I write my reviews is a little different. I'm more, and you can tell when you read one of my reviews, I'm telling a story.
Yeah.
I don't ever say whether I hate it or not. Like, oh, I hate the stick, I'll never buy it again. As I don't want to sway the person reading it. But I'll tell you.
You want to tell your experience.
I want to tell my experience, where I was, what I was doing, the information I could find about that particular cigar, what's in it, where it comes from, what I'm tasting, and whether or not I like it, it's of no consequence. I want you to know what I experienced in this, so when you're walking into a humidor and you had read that review, you can go, you know what? I'm going to try that because he was tasting this, this, and this. And
I want that experience.
I want to see that. Yeah. Now, he might, or she, they're sisters of the leaf too. I'm not being sexist here, but he or she might go in there and try that and get a whole different experience, a transcendent experience. And they might love that because that resonates with them, where it didn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm thinking I'll never do that again. They might go, holy shit, I'm buying a whole box of these. So that's why I write my reviews the way I do. I hate people that write reviews
and say, buy this, don't buy that.
Yeah, I don't like that. Now, when it comes to like equipment or something like that, then yeah, sure, because I don't want to buy something that's going to screw up on me. But in this case, I'm not trying to sway anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I would describe this not in flavor profiles, but I would say to me, this seems very smooth. Like, it's very easy.
Okay.
To draw. It's very light on my tongue.
Smooth. I could go along with that. The G. I've never had a problem. Actually, I've never had a problem with any Oliva cigar, with the exception of the O series. The O series, a couple that I had were just clogged. Just couldn't really get a good draw. Burn line was all wonky. Started to canoe on me. I'm like, I'm good on that. But the G, the V 135th anniversary, the Milanio, like all those are just fantabulous.
So you just said canoe. What's a canoe?
Okay, so when your cigar. You know what a canoe looks like?
Yes.
It'll do that to your cigar. So it'll burn so funky that it'll go like this. So like this angle. So it burns more on the top.
So it won't burn like in a circle like that.
Yeah. So that's why I told you, when you light, you want to light
middle and then out.
I start in the middle, and then I spiral and I work myself out. And then I'll blow on it to get that char going, get that, the light going. Then I'll do it again, and I'll toast it again. So when you first started doing it, and they already saw it when we were lighting them, they didn't hear what I was saying, but what you were doing, you were holding that too close right off the bat. You just want the tip of that, like not even the tip of the flame. You just want the heat from that flame to toast it. We don't want to burn it.
Well, can I see the flame?
No, but you can see where it's hitting, man.
Well, I did after a second.
Okay, but that's what we want to do. We want to toast it, not burn it. Yeah. Okay, and I do 3 stages of that. So I'll toast, blow on it, toast, blow on it, toast, and then I'm finishing lighting. And what you didn't do is you want to rotate that as it's lighting, because if not, you burn one side more than the other, which can lead to canoeing.
Okay, which I'm not canoeing.
You are not canoeing.
But it's a little bit.
It's a little bit. So what you would do in that particular case is you would hold, because mine does it a little bit too. I don't know if you can actually see that. Where's your camera? Maybe I'll do that. You can see just a little bit. What you want to do is you want to take your light, and you want to find the lowest point, okay? And you just want to run that straight. So now you're going to correct that by bringing everything to the lowest point.
Necessary to do? Only if it starts to get really off.
Catch it early, or it will get really off. That's why I'm always looking.
Is that too far off, or is that you still wouldn't do anything with that?
No, you still roll with that. Yeah. I'm just waiting for that ash to fall over your nice blue sweater.
I know, that's why I'm trying to.
If you really want to get it off, just take it and just gently. No, don't nunchuck, don't do it. Just set it inside the ashtray.
Yeah.
And then just gently break it off. Like press on it. There you go.
Oh, okay.
That ash was holding strong, though. It didn't want to come off. It was like breaking an arm.
That was not easy to come off, no.
I should have just let it on there so it would drop all over his shit. Anyway, So here's what I did for today. So I had a problem with this particular cigar. This was another one that was clogged beyond belief. And AJ Fernandez, I'm going to call you out because this was your people's doing. This was like a golf ball in a garden hose. Could not get a draw. It wouldn't stay lit. So I said, fuck it. I snipped the tip off this one end to get the burn off there, and I cut it open just for today so I can show you.
What you're meaning by clogging?
Well, that. But also, well, it's kind of hard to see the clog now that I've opened it, but I want to show you the different layers that's inside of these. And hopefully this transcends onto camera as well. Be very careful, that's the wrapper. Now, if you look at the wrapper, it's actually not what people think is, the entire width, or length of the cigar. It's a piece of wrapper leaf like this that they roll at an angle. So if you can see that that's at an angle. You see how thin it is?
It's really thin.
How fragile it is?
So this is the wrapper.
That's the wrapper.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if I want to take this off. Yes, maybe I do. So very carefully here, that is the binder.
So wrapper, then binder.
Yeah, so same concept as the wrapper. It's just not as delicate and it hasn't been fermented as long, depending on which wrapper that they're using. So that's a binder. And I believe this is, nope, that's actually part of the filler.
Wrapper, binder.
Wrapper, binder. This is a slew of bunched up fillers. And I'm very cautious now because this shit has been falling out of my hand. But
filler being just the tobacco leaves?
Filler is what is in the heart of the cigar. All right, so what they do is they take just these different leaves, okay, pending the blend that they're using. And I'll do it in this camera here. So pending the blend, they know which leaves to put in. So let's say we're at a table, and at this table I've got 5 different leaves, okay? I've already been instructed by the blender himself, herself, on how many of what to put in this thing. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing leaves now, and I'm building this in my hand, okay? So I know how tall it's inevitably going to be. It starts out bigger, and they trim pieces off. Yeah. So I start with 2 of this leaf. Or maybe it's this leaf and I fold it like an accordion. Then I take a sliver of this one and lay it in there. And I take a nice bunch of this one and lay it in there. That's all the different layers that go into it.
And so how many leaves is that?
It's hard to say. I'd have to look up that particular, watch because you'll dump it out. I have to look up the actual blend on that, but I don't know what their blend is. I don't know how much of how much.
So this could be 3, 4, 5 different leaves?
It could be 10. It could be 4 different leaves times 2 leaves.
And none of them are bunched in. They're always all wrapped.
No, there's different styles of bunching. You can do the book where they fold it. You can do the accordion, which is laid over. Like remember when we were in school, you fold the paper over like this and then grab the end and let it fan out.
Oh yeah.
Accordion style.
Okay. So there's a lot of different ways. Now the leaves when they do, are they green leaves?
No, and I'll get to that in a second. Okay. There's 4 different styles of bunching. Mostly the book and the accordion are those are the ones that I've seen used because I do tear apart cigars every once in a while just to see. Now there is a green leaf tobacco, and damn it, I wish I would have known you were going to ask that because I would have brought it. It's a Candela wrapper, and what they do is they air dry them so fast to keep the chlorophyll in there, so it stays green.
That's going to give it a different burn and different flavor profile.
It's going to give it a different everything, and fresh cut grass is the notes you get out of that. It's absolutely fantastic.
Oh, that's really neat.
It's lovely. Are you making faces over there? I'm gonna punch you. I'm gonna punch you right in that gobbler of yours. But it's fantastic if you have the right blend with it. I don't want to taste fresh cut grass, just fresh cut grass. I want to taste a variety of things.
Watermelon.
Yeah, but that'd be nice in a cigar. But they do what's called a barber pole, where it's 2 different wrappers, and the way they do it, like it'll go brown, green, brown, green. So when it's all rolled up, it looks like a barber pole.
Oh no, that's cool.
It is, and it fuses 2 different wrappers.
So part of that is then design based too, like the aesthetics. They want it to look neat.
Yes, and the blender is the one who pisses with all these different blends. So because we're talking about the blends, Alec from Casa Cueve Cigars told me that there was 14 blends done on this, and number 10 is the one they chose. So he did.
So they tried 14 different methods. He
created 14 different blends of a number of certain leaves to create what he wanted. So he created this one, like, oh, I like that, but I'll take a little of this out, add a little of this in, and did that 14 times, and they chose blend 10,
And so
which is what this is.
When he's doing all those 14, is he like smoking it right away? Like, how's he determining which of those 14 is good?
Evan, do you remember him mentioning if he was rolling them, smoking them? I don't know. I'd have to ask him. I can reach out to him and ask him, but that is actually something. Type that in your phone real quick so we remember. If we actually get a chance to do the episode with Alec Cuevas, I want to ask him that.
That'd be fascinating.
Yeah, I would actually want to ask him that. And actually, I'm going to send him the link to this and just answer me so I know.
Yeah, I'd like to know too. That's cool.
I'd like to cover it if we can go down there and film his episode.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. But I know he told me he did 14 blends and they chose blend number 10 as the one that they were going to do.
Okay.
So
and after a cigar is made, so binder, wrapper, blend's all done, how long until it can be smoked?
That depends on the blender. It depends on what he or she is deciding.
Wants it to be aged or not aged?
Okay, so this one in particular, this Padron 1926 40th anniversary Maduro, this started with 5-year aged tobacco. So it was already aged 5 years before they even put it in a blend.
Before they even do the blend. Okay, so those leaves are definitely older leaves.
Then after they're wrapped and ready to, so we're jumping ahead, let me go back. So they bunch everything together. So let's say this is going to be a 6x52 box press torpedo. It's probably going to start out at 8 inches. So they're looking at this, but they know in their hand where this blend is going to end up, okay? So they get their blend, 8 inches long. They take it, they put it in the machine with the binder leaf. They push the machine forward, they bring it back, it rolled the binder and all the fillers together.
Does it all at once?
Does it all at once. Okay. They take that, they put it into a cutter, they cut the first section off. They put those in molds and they're dried again, okay? Then they take them out of there and it goes to the wrapper. The wrapper probably has the most important, well, I don't say the most important, the most delicate job because they're dealing with a really thin, you see it.
This is it. This is
very fragile wrapper. And they're highly trained to roll these cigars. So they will take that.
So they're getting that basically.
They're getting
this
these
is inside
two
the
together.
binder.
Yes.
It's in it already looks like a cigar.
They put it in molds depending on what what shape they want it.
How big, how small.
Well, no, they got to roll it. When they're rolling it, they got to choose a diameter. They have to know how thick to roll these things. So these bunchers, like they got to know. Everybody's got to know what they're doing.
Because it has to be so tightly together for it to be able to be smoked.
Yeah, if not, it turns clogged. AJ, Alec Bradley. No, I don't want to call them out completely because I love their cigars. Just it happens. It's hand rolled.
Yeah.
When something's handmade, it happens.
You're gonna have variations.
Nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
But once it's bunched and rolled and it comes out of the press, the wrapper will take it out of the press and start with the wrapper leaf. When they get the wrapper leaf on, they use fruit gum to like glue everything together. They put it in. They slice the final piece off. It is now 2 size. Once that's done, let's say. So they get it to your typical, circle ring gauge, but they want it box pressed. Now it has to go into another press that is a box. It's flat, so it's rectangle or square, depending on whichever one. Like the Arturo Fuente Eye of the Shark was a torpedo box press, square box press. It was the most interesting thing I've ever seen.
So it's square in shape.
Depending on what they're trying to do with it, yes. So they'll take something that looks like this and get it ready to be something like this.
More like that. So that obviously looks more square or rectangular.
Yeah, this is rectangle. So they'll put that into the press. They'll put in, there's like a whole bunch of layers of these presses, and then they twist the press down, squeeze it, compress it, and that's what turns it into a box press. From that point, it's up to them how long they want to age it. They could age it in those molds for 2 years.
Is that common? Like what's common?
It depends the blender.
Okay.
Everybody's different. So it just depends on all. Those I couldn't really tell you because I'm not around the blender, so I don't know how long they age it afterwards.
But it is going to be aged for a certain period of time at least.
Yes. Okay. But all the major aging and air drying and fermentation, you want to get all that chlorophyll out. So if they didn't take the chlorophyll out, all those would be green still. And probably unsmokable because you don't want to smoke chlorophyll. It's nasty.
No.
And actually, walking through a curing barn will choke you if you're not used to it because it's all.
Because it's so pungent.
Oh yeah, So it's a hell of a process.
That's just.
So when you look at it, that's why handmade long filler cigars are considered luxury items.
Because of the amount of manpower, so your labor cost.
Everything. You got to plant it. You got to take care of it. You got to grow it. You got to trim it. You got to cure it, ferment it. The process. Chances are that cigar was made 3-4 years ago. started 3-4 years
This
ago.
one.
Pick one.
Either any of them.
This is probably 10 years old.
That's pretty cool.
That's why cigars cost so much.
Because of the time involved.
It's time intensive. And that's one of the things I find so fascinating about cigars. It's just there's so much involved with it from start to finish. So many different people, so many different job duties to get it to where it is. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
I think that's really neat.
Not neat enough to smoke, another one. Have to wait another 20 years to smoke another one.
Maybe 18.
Oh my God. But I'm actually I was a little nervous about doing this episode because we had a newbie on, but I find it's more informational this time.
Well, yeah, because I don't.
No shit.
I want to know about this kind of stuff. It's interesting to me.
Well, see, more talking, not enough smoking. But since I did that, this, if it was deeper, would be called tunneling.
Because
It's where it's burning too hot and it's actually burning on the inside and not everything else.
and that's because you were talking.
This is because
too much.
I'm flapping my word hole.
Got it.
So it went out.
Yeah.
But if I was still smoking this constantly and it was still doing that, it's burning too hot on the inside.
Anything you can do to correct that?
Yeah, burn a lot of the outside to hopefully keep it to catch up.
To get it, go back together.
I'd rather have tunneling than
Canoeing.
canoeing than I would tunneling. Do you have any other questions since I've done all the talking? This reminds me of Johnny in our first season where he didn't really talk for shit, and the camera was always on me.
Well, you're just so good looking.
What are you looking at?
No, I think, I didn't know what to expect, obviously, coming in here and just sharing a cigar with a friend. And I didn't
Touch my heart.
I didn't know you knew so much about them. I mean, I knew you really like cigars, but I didn't know that you really like cigars.
Do you think that I really like cigars now, or do you think that I love cigars?
I think you love cigars.
I love cigars.
I think you love cigars.
It's a passion, and when you have a passion, it's the same thing that Alec Cuevas and I were talking about last night. When you have a passion, it makes it easier to learn.
Yeah, when you love what you're doing, whatever, whether it's a hobby, whether it's a career.
Yep. And believe it or not, I actually don't do this for a living.
No.
So I absolutely love it.
Have you thought about doing it for a living?
I mean, I do LaVega Lounge. Anybody who's in this area knows I do my mobile cigar lounge in the summertime. But yeah, I want to get into it more. To what extent, I don't know.
So you have a mobile retail shop, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, are you buying, is the only way to do that you would have to buy boxes or cases and then sell them individually?
Boxes. I mean, I could sell them by the box. I mean, I went through the proper steps. I got my my sales tax license for cigars in Pennsylvania, but I buy wholesale. And here's an interesting fact. Pennsylvania and Florida are the only two states in the union that don't have an import tax.
Really?
So let's say for shits and giggles, that's a $10 cigar wholesale. It's a $20 cigar retail in Pennsylvania. Well, let's say we're in Ohio, and let's say Ohio is a 50% import tax. Now, you're good with numbers. I mean, I'm good with numbers, but you're better at numbers than I am due to your financial advisor. So
that cigar in Ohio is costing them $15 to buy, where you're buying it for $10.
So now
So you can sell for $14.99 and cut them off.
you can.
But that's probably not good.
It's not, but that's also why things are more expensive when you go into another state. So someone like me would go into another state, and I'd look at that and go, that's a $25 cigar. I can get it for $18-20 in Pennsylvania. But I know that they have an import tax, so I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to quibble over that because I understand they have to charge for that.
Because you can't get around
And
that.
there's a state, and I can't remember which one it is. I don't know why I'm thinking Alaska. It might be, might not be. They have 100% import tax. So if it's a $10 cigar, they're paying $20 just per cigar just to get that thing in there. So a box of 20 now costs them what? $400.
That's a lot more.
Any other questions you have? Because unless you've got questions, I think I just want to finish up this episode and finish this off with you. Because never had a cigar with you.
No, I like to go offline too. But my one last question is, if you were to do this just as a business, how many cigars would you need to sell a year for it to be viable?
Depends on your overhead.
So if you have a storefront, retail.
If you have a storefront, so let's say I have between insurance, utilities, and building payment. Let's say I'm spending $1,500 a month, not including am I working it or am I paying somebody to work? Because let's say it's just me, I got to make at least $1,500 to keep my doors open a month.
So it's a good amount of cigars.
And most cigars, depending on the brand, run 30, 40, 50, sometimes 60% markup on it. So if I pay $10, I can charge $19, $20 for it retail.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cigars
That's a lot of cigars.
to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, if let's say I'm profiting $10 on a cigar, and I need 1,500. I mean,
Yeah, so you're 150 cigars.
150
a
cigars in a month just to keep my doors open.
That seems like a lot.
It is, yes, it is. But cigars are those things that people. It's sharing a moment. It's hard to be upset when you're sitting and smoking a cigar.
It's pretty relaxing.
Like aside from me punching you in the face, could you be upset right now?
I don't think so.
Like
I feel good. I feel happy.
You're feeling good.
Yeah.
You're chilling, and that is a tribute to all the hands that touch that.
It is. So thank you to all of Oliva, all of the Oliva family. Thank you very much for making a very enjoyable cigar, and thank you for providing it.
No problem. Any other questions? Because actually, I do want to wrap this up because I want to sit and enjoy the rest of this with you. But it was fantastic having you on, specifically you, but also having a newbie on. Because being able to break this down, and I've never been able to do that. I've done it for people outside when they ask me questions, but I feel like this was a whole cigar tutorial.
Well, yeah, because you know everything, so you don't know, like, what are the things to pull out? You know a lot.
I know enough to make me dangerous.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of people who know more about it than I do. But that's why I continue to learn, and that's why I went after the certified cigar sommelier. I want to know more. That's why I'm excited. Hopefully, I'm able to go down to the DR with Alec because I want to see more of the behind the scenes. Like, I know the retail, I know the theory behind everything, but I want to go see it.
You want to see where it starts.
I want to see it, man.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I want to do it. I want to enjoy it. So I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
I don't know how many more episodes we're going to have in the season. I'm shooting for one more because we need Johnny 5 back. But just in case this is the final one, I'm glad it was with you. Evan, I want to thank you for helping out as the new equipment director. I'm hoping you stick around. Because otherwise I got to get up and check all this shit after we're done. Anyway, till next time, whether that be next season or another episode, we will see you guys later. Enjoy your smokes.